Welcome to r/malicious compliance, where we share stories of people conforming to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. And today we have 3 great stories, so subscribe, hit the like button, and let's begin. The first story: woman brought her children to the cinema and ran out after 30 minutes from the start of the movie. The second story: owner told me to quit if I didn't like working for her. I agreed. The third story: client booked a room on the 4th floor, but our hotel did not have a 4th floor. And the first story is, I know what's appropriate for my kids, thanks. So this was in 2013, back when I was working at a movie theater in my town. Right after Wolf of Wall Street came out, and this movie brought in a crowd. Theaters were sold out and packed, known for its not-so-kid-friendly scenes, and was a little too much for most people. Now, working at a movie theater, you can usually just tell after a while what people know what they want, and what people who think they know what they want, but have no idea what they're getting into. For example, those people came in to watch Leo because they love him and will watch whatever he's in, without realizing how highly inappropriate the movie is. Normally, mothers coming in to buy their teenagers tickets before bouncing thinking it was a Titanic movie and it's not. Literally, I watched so many people come out 30 minutes in and leave, stating how disgusting that movie was. We were told to warn people, especially just Leo fans not knowing what they were getting into, because people were getting mad and freaking out. So when Karen's sporting a Jesus self-made bedazzled t-shirt, Can I Speak to Your Manager haircut, and Cross Jewelry came in with one 9-year-old and one 11-year-old came for a ticket, it was too obvious she did not know what she was in for. 3 tickets to Wolf of Wall Street, Karen stated, rummaging through her bag for her wallet. Okay, but so you know it's not kid-friendly. It's R-rated. Like, really, really R-rated. I started as she looked up. I whispered enough for her to hear and not the kids. It has a scene 30 minutes in which someone does cocaine off. My kids love Leo, okay? It's my 9-year-old's birthday and all she wanted was to see this movie. I know what's appropriate for my kids, thanks, Karen scoffed. Cue my malicious compliance. Okay, just 3 tickets? I beamed and sold her the tickets. She was rude and rolling her eyes, smacking her gum till I gave her the tickets. She snatched them out of my hand in satisfaction, giving me a victorious smirk before walking towards the theater. I just waved goodbye. After about 30 minutes after it started, I called my manager out from the office for a refund. He was confused, but I explained why. We waited for the scene. That amazing scene was too much for almost everyone. Almost on cue, I see a Karen and her children come out of the theater. She is quiet as her kids are quickly following after her, begging for her forgiveness in panic and tears, screaming we didn't know. Karen is emotionless as she walks up slowly and defeated to my ticket booth, in tears. Tears were just sliding down her cheeks as her kids sobbed and begged for her not to be mad. She couldn't look at me as Karen swallowed and choked out with a shaky breath. Can I get a refund? Karen sniffed as my boss did the refund. And the reason for the refund? My manager asked as Karen swallowed, embarrassed, unable to look at me. It's not kid-friendly. OP. Hey, if you like this one, I have another one with the police being called for the same movie. I'll post it if you want more. I just got into this and thought of this memory. Movie theaters are crazy, man. Edit. To also add, since you guys have asked some questions, sadly she did get a refund due to customer satisfaction policy. With the company I worked at, you can get a refund pretty much up till the credits start. So yeah, they love customers and kiss their butts. For my non-American friends asking why kids can go into R-rated films, in America, kids can go to R-rated films as long as the parents come with them and goes with them. If a parent is present and goes in with them, then they can watch it. Parents like to buy tickets and ditch, but they aren't allowed. They can't buy and ditch the kids. We kick them out if they do. It's too bad she got a refund, but that's your movie theater policy. It was her decision to buy the tickets, even after you warned her. It would have been correct if she had been told that she could not get a refund for that reason, because she was warned about it when she bought the tickets. Or she should have only been refunded 2 tickets to teach her a lesson. I don't think she deserves a refund, but okay, there are actually a lot of Karens like that. I really don't understand how people don't do a little research before they go. I witnessed a situation where Karen bought tickets to an R-rated movie. Can't remember the name. She was with 2 kids. I was also going to that movie. Everyone sat in their seats and the movie started. In the seats right in front of me were a mother and her 2 younger children. As soon as the adult scene started, she became indignant, shouting that this movie was not for her children, disturbing the other theater goers. She quickly took her children and ran out of the theater. I think everyone was relieved when she walked out. Bottom line is the ratings are there for a reason. The next story is, you need me more than I need you. So a while ago, I used to work as a shift manager at a very popular US coffee and donut chain. The owner of this franchise branch was extremely abusive, power-hungry, and sexist, which seems to be a trend on this sub. To put how outrageous her treatment of staff was into perspective, I watched this woman training a new male coworker once. He messed up a drink and she proceeded to throw the drink on the ground and demand he cleaned it up. She also demanded we include her when dividing tips up at the end of every night. Pretty sure that's illegal, but hey, I was 17 and didn't know any better. Anyways, I had this 30-something female coworker with 2 children. She was from India and would always bring a little extra dinner with her when we worked together to get me to try foods from her culture. She was such a sweetheart and a key player in this story. At the time, I'd been working there for 3 years. I was a shift manager and was primarily in charge of training new hires for the closing shift. One day, my lovely female coworker comes in extremely upset. She explains that after working 6 days a week every week for the past few months, she was denied off for her son's birthday party. I immediately told her not to worry, as I was free that day and would work for her. No problem. I come into work early the next day when the owner was still in to let her know I would be taking lovely coworker's shift on her son's birthday. Mind you, the date in question was almost a month away, so we were giving her plenty of notice. The owner says that will not be happening with a smile and tells me to get to work. Something about her smile told me she was getting off on denying my coworker this day off with her family, and that SH broke something in me. For the next 3 weeks, I stewed. I wrote out my 2 weeks' notice and kept it in a sealed envelope in my car. We were short-staffed and new hires needed training, so I decided to stick it out a little longer so that my other coworkers wouldn't have to pick up the slack. One day, I'd pull in for my shift and see that the owner is in. I walk in and hear yelling from the back. The owner is back there screaming at the group of morning shift workers in what I assume is Hindi. She then dismissed them and starts in on my lovely coworker and another coworker in English about how incompetent they are. At this point, I'm done. I get between her and my coworkers and go off, telling her that we're all tired of her abuse and that I will not stand to see her targeting lovely coworker anymore, denying her days off out of spite. We go back and forth yelling for a bit and then she says, "If you don't like it, then get out of my sight." I reply, "I quit. You need me more than I need your SH anyway." She smugly replies, "I'll be needing you to hand in an official notice of that. You can come visit me tomorrow in my office." Little did she know on this particular day I had my resignation letter in my apron. Nothing felt as good as ripping that letter out of my apron and slamming it down on the counter, wishing all my coworkers the best and telling the owner to have fun burning in hell. She took me off the schedule for my last 2 weeks, but I heard from lovely coworker that the owner was having to work 12-hour days to work out hiring new people and training everyone who was coming in. I found out that after 3 months this cafe was closed. It felt good to stand up for myself. Not surprising, the owner was a horrible woman. Her behavior is not normal. I think that in order for the employees to work well, you need to treat them with respect in the first place. Apparently there was a very large turnover of staff and they could not stand it. I had a similar story. I worked in a place that sucked as a barista. The salary was small, but I had to pay for my college education, so I had no choice. At first, the boss treated me well, but soon he became rude. He could yell at the employees, including me. One time he yelled at me for being 3 minutes late, but he did not notice that sometimes I came to work earlier. I got tired of his taunts and filed a notice of dismissal. He asked me to stay because there was no one to cover my shift, but I wanted revenge and turned him down. It ended up being chaos according to my colleague's story. Everything went wrong and the boss deserved it. I'm glad I left that place. I found a job with a good salary. The last story is, customer had a reservation for the 4th floor at a 3-floor hotel, so I took her to the roof. Several years ago, I worked front desk at a privately owned hotel, non-chain, that had been a Days Inn 5 years prior. The only way to book a reservation was to talk to the front desk staff. No online reservations, no third-party reservations. About 50% of our rooms were sold to walk-ins. One holiday weekend, we're booked full. Our elderly elevator is having some trouble with all the traffic and spooking guests, so I close it and call for a repairman, but it's 10 o'clock at night, so I'm not expecting anybody until the next morning. All of our guests are checked in. Our accessibility rooms are on the same floor as the lobby, so I'll just help out anyone with their luggage, if they have more, and put up a sign saying so. In walks a woman I don't recognize from check-in. She plops a piece of paper in front of me and then goes and gets lots of luggage. The paper shows her with a reservation at Days Inn, at this address for tonight, for 1/10 of the price we were selling before being fully booked. She comes back to the desk, likely thinking that I've been checking her in all this time. I regret to inform you that we do not accept third-party reservations. We are unfortunately already booked for the night. I have a reservation, it's right there. I paid good money for it. Ma'am, I believe you. Unfortunately, you're not in our system because we don't take third-party reservations. They sold it to you fraudulently. You're just trying to steal my money. I have a confirmation number right there. I handed it to you. Yes, ma'am, you handed me a reservation to a Days Inn. We're hotel name, gesturing to sign. All the signage inside and outside the building is correct. Also, this is for a 4th floor room. We only have 3 floors. I stayed at this Days Inn last year on the 4th floor. This argument continues for a while with me keeping my cool, informing her that we're booked. All of our rooms are full, insisting that we don't have a 4th floor, not Days Inn, don't take third-party reservations, etc. Eventually, she screams at me that I'm going to take her to her room on the 4th floor, that she paid for right now. I don't respond. I just stare at her with a blank face until she slaps the desk and screams, "Now," again. I don't mind making a room key, but I do grab my huge key ring and we both load ourselves up with her excessive luggage and climb the stairs. Once we get to the 3rd floor, I gesture to the 3rd floor sign and tell her it's the 3rd floor. I then use my maintenance key to unlock the door to the maintenance stairs, which are not lit, and she trudges up behind me, not saying anything. I open the door to the tarred roof and walk outside, and here's the 4th floor. I hope it's as nice as the last time you stayed here. I drop her luggage and go down the stairs back to the front desk. Honestly, had she been nicer to me, I would have tried to help her get a room at a different hotel and submit documentation to try and get her a refund or charge back from the third party. But since she screamed at me, I left her and her luggage on the roof. Plus, she insisted she had stayed on the 4th floor, so that's what she got. Edit. There was an option at the bottom of the stairs to go straight outside, instead of coming by the front desk. I didn't see her again, and she wasn't there when I went to lock the roof back up on my midnight rounds. Edit 2. For people concerned about her safety, this was a flat roof with a 4-foot facade and wall around the outside. It was not open to the public due to it being a tar roof instead of finished, but I took breaks and walks up here occasionally. Haha, good MC. I can imagine the look on her face when you brought her to the roof of the building. She wanted to get to the 4th floor and she did. Excellent work. I'm sorry she was deceived, but you gave her what she asked for and apparently lied. Although on the other hand, she could have made it all up. Her insistence that she was here before and on the 4th floor is equally nonsensical, unless she was trying to get the OP to give her a room anyway, and honor the ridiculously low price. She just bet on there being a 4th floor and lost. But that's just my guess. I don't know. I wish more people would just trust and listen to the person they work with. I know it can be difficult, but the cooperation is worth it. And yes, for heaven's sake, and as a hotel person, never use your debit card for anything. It's too easy to screw up, and the bank has no reason to fix it in a hurry. After all, it's not their money. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a nice day.